Hello, this is Nikki in Niagara coming to you from Niagara Falls, Canada. And hello, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, come on in and I'm glad to have you. And if you are back again, then here we are with another color and chat. It has been a while since I've been here. But I'd like to thank Tracy Nutt, who has been continuously nudging me along to get another color and chat out, and I thank her for that nudge because I needed it. So first of all, I'll just tell you what we're coloring so I can get to coloring, and then I will chat. So, I am coloring out of Curious Creatures by Millie Marotta. I forget who it was because it's been a while ago, but someone had wanted to see me color out of a Millie Marotta book. So that is what I am doing. I just sat down and started a page last night, and this is the one that I'm doing. It is an okapi, because at the back of the book it tells you what the animals are. So yes, an okapi. So I'm not doing this realistic colors, though they kind of are. I'll tell you how I pick my colors. I have Sarah Renee Clark's color catalog. There are 2 volumes, which each include 250 color schemes. And then I have the accompanying color catalog companions, which list out the actual pencils to use from a variety of sets. So I had this one from Black Widow. What I do is when I find a palette that I want to use, I print out the page of the catalog that it's on, so that eventually I'll have more and more pages of the catalog printed out, but I'm not sitting down and printing out 250 palettes all at once and, you know, using up a ton of paper. So anyways, this is the one that I found that I wanted to do, and I've colored in the pencils and got them out. So here I've got 3 shades of brown, going from a tan to a red brown, light blue, and a light green. And I got out these 5 colors, and then I put them into groups. I got out more pencils to put them into groups of 3 so that I had a color combination to work with. So I have 5 times 3, which is 15 pencils that I can work with doing this picture. So this is just my chart of colors for the Black Widows. So I'll tell you what they are. So the 5 colors that I'm using are Black Widow 107, Forget Me Not, Black Widow 01, Stink Bug, Monarch 122, which is Rusty, Cobra 66, which is Rattlesnake, and then Monarch 72, which is Medium Gray. So then I made color combos for those colors. And that is what I have here. These are I've got 4 of my color combos in here, and I always keep a white Prisma and a blender, colorless blender. So I've started on the birch bark, and I'm using one of the browns. Turn the book this way because that's how I'm coloring. So my combination goes Monarch Rusty 122, Black Widow 22, Foxy Brown, Skin Light 07, Eggshell. So those are the colors I'm using for my combination. So I will work on another one of these trees so you can see how they're done. Then I'll move on to the okapi. So, I haven't color and chatted for ages. It may have been, for some reason, I am thinking it was May. I don't know why. That I last, April, May, June, no. It was April. April the last time that I did a color and chat. So, what I've decided for the future is that, and I'm sorry, but I am not going to do regular Monday color and chats like I used to do. I'm just going to do a color and chat when I feel like it. So I guess realistically what I will do is probably one a month, but that's just an estimate. Like I said, I'm going to do them when I want, so I mean, maybe I will do some every week, and then they'll skip and be a while until I do another one. But rest assured that I'm here and that I will be coloring and chatting with you, though on an irregular basis. So why did I stop in the first place? Is I had all that hullabaloo with going into the hospital with a gallbladder attack, and I did not have surgery, though it has been scheduled. Well, it hasn't even been scheduled, but it's been put down on the list to be scheduled. So they told me that it would be in September-ish. So they will call me and let me know when I'll be having the operation. So I've got that coming up in my not too distant future. And also something that I don't want to talk about happened that put me off doing color and chats. And it had nothing to do with my color and chat, well, or, you know, you guys or anybody, anything to do with YouTube. It was unrelated to that, but it did make me not want to do color and chats. So I had to get over that, and it took me longer than it really should have, but I'm over it now because I'm here. So yeah, that came up. So see, I'm going in and doing this one color on all of the parts of the tree that I want to color. So, been doing a lot of things. One of the best things that happened to us in this time period is that we made our final payment on our mortgage. So that was yippee-yi-yay. Woohoo for paying off our mortgage. So now we don't have mortgage payments every month. We actually own our house, which we are extremely thrilled about. And you know, not a lot of people own their houses these days, at least not in Canada. People move a lot. They buy a house, they live there 5 years, maybe 10, and then they move to another house. But not us. When we bought this house, we knew that it was going to be our forever house because we had moved a lot before we moved into this house. Both Mr. Niagara and myself, when we lived with our families, moved a lot. My parents moved continually. I think I added up all the different places that I lived while I still lived at home, and it was something like 12. And my parents both worked at the same place all those many years. And yet they kept moving house. So we both had an experience of families moving a lot. And once we got together, we moved around a lot. Sometimes because, well, we rented. And sometimes it was because, you know, the landlord was selling the property. We always lived in houses. We never lived in an apartment because we had children and we just didn't think, you know, we didn't think it was right to not have a yard for children to play in. So this house was bought with those thoughts in mind too, and it was close to the school that our youngest would be going to, and you know, all those thoughts when you have a young family. Of course, my family's all grown up now. And yeah, so together we had moved, just because, you know, we wanted to. We were tired of where we were living. We were used to moving around. And, you know, we probably moved around another dozen times while we were together. So we wanted to buy a house so desperately. And we couldn't do that where we were living at the time. Calgary, it was a city. And we would never earn enough money to be able to buy a house there. So we moved. We had to move to buy our forever house. So yeah, we moved here. And we lived in a townhouse for 6 months, and then we bought our house, and we've been here ever since, which is, 17, 18 years we've lived in this house now. And that's how long it took us to pay off our 25-year mortgage. So you saw how I did that. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do is these spaces in between. I didn't want them colored, but I am taking my lightest color, eggshell, and I am just doing a light shade on the edge of each of these to give them some color. So I'll just do this one, and then we'll get on to the copy. Yeah, so we're mortgage free. But then another thing happened which wasn't so good. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink. And what I am drinking here is Diet Coke Feisty Cherry. I can't show you the... There, maybe you can see the label a little bit. So we don't get all the different flavored Cokes that you guys in the States get. We just have, you know, regular Coke. All the different varieties of regular Coke. But during the summer and at Christmas, we get the flavors come out. So I don't know if there's any other flavors out. Usually we get the Coke with lime. That used to be a normal Coke here, but can't get it now except for seasonally. But yeah, husband, Mr. Niagara, picked that up for me. And I'm going to go with him next time he does the groceries and have a look and see what other flavored pops are out there, because I just love them. I love cherry Coke. This, what is it called? Vibrant cherry? No. Feisty cherry. It's not the same as cherry Coke. It's got a bite to it that kind of reminds me of my normal drink, Diet Dr. Pepper. We do have some of the flavors, I should say, but they're not in diet. And I don't know any people who drink not diet pop anymore. It's so bad for you. I don't even know why they make it. Nobody drinks it. Of course, lots of people think Diet Coke is bad for you too, and I'll agree with that to a degree because of the aspartame in it, but there are some diet pops that don't have aspartame in it. They have sucralose, which is a lot better for you. But of course there are people who don't like sucralose too, so you can't win when you're drinking pop. But I love pop, so I'm not going to stop drinking it, even if stopping drinking it would make me lose more weight. And speaking of weight, you all know I've been on a weight loss journey this year. So starting this year, January 2021, I have now lost 40 pounds. So it is coming off slowly. Some weeks I don't lose anything, and I had a couple of weeks where I went up a couple of pounds. But they came back off again, and I'm steadily declining. So for health reasons, I would like to... Oh, I wasn't going to do another one of those, so let's stop. So let's do the okapi. So I want it to start with the stripes on its butt. I'm going to have to... Don't want you to be... here, let's do this. There. So now you're on screen. Okay, so I want to do the stripes on its butt with the blues. So the blues I'm using are, just let me check which one of the blues is the darkest. Okay, yeah, it goes this way. Okay, so for the blues, I am using Black Widow 107 Forget Me Not, Monarch 83 Denim, and Scorpion 51 Blue Heaven, and that's my 3-color combo. So we're going to color in the stripes, and I've just realized that I need to go back to the other way. Or... yeah, I think I'll color them this way. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, weight loss. So, my current situation with the weight loss journey is that I am working with a weight loss clinic here, and it's not like some kind of diet center or program like, you know, I don't even know what the programs are out there now, but I mean, I know that Weight Watchers still exists. It's not something like that. It's a government run. It's run on our national health care, and is has regular doctors, and oh boy, can I color with pencil and talk at the same time? It has regular doctors and nurses there, and specialists who are all part of the clinic. I'm going to have to sharpen these guys. So that noise you've been hearing in the background is my air conditioner. It is absolutely... it's not that hot, but it is humid, and it just makes me sweat. So yeah, I should have sharpened these before I even started coloring with them. And I am going through the process of being accepted for bariatric surgery again. This time I won't be having... last time I had the Roux-en-Y procedure, which is the one that most people get. It's the middle. It's the middle. There's 3 of them. First of all, there's a sleeve, which you can really think of as temporary because it can be removed. It can be tightened. It can be loosened. So there's that one. And then there's the Roux-en-Y, which I had done and it didn't work for me, which is permanent. it it attaches your intestines. It attaches your large intestines to your stomach so that you're not using your small intestines anymore. But now I'm going to be having a more aggressive, well, I can't say I'm going to be because I have to go through the process to be accepted. I have a virtual meeting on, what's it called, Zoom, on the 26th of this month. And that will actually be the real start of my working my way through the system. But I was recommended by the doctor at the weight loss clinic to get it done, so I forget the name of what I'm having done. It's a duo something. I'm going out of the lines on these, but I'll just erase it. So plugging away on the weight loss and going through the bariatric process. But at the moment I'm glad I'm losing it slowly because when you lose weight slowly, it stays off longer. That's if you're doing it naturally. And because of my health conditions, I can't exercise. But as to my health in that way, I'm doing really well. Had a bit of a, I don't know, recession if you want to call it that. And I think it's because I've lost weight that I am back to walking with a cane. I can't walk any real distance, so I need to be driven everywhere, even to the corner store. I used to walk a lot. Because I don't drive, and because of that, if I wanted to get anywhere, I either had to wait until Mr. Niagara could drive me, or walk. I don't do public transportation. It gives me anxiety and panic attacks, and I get lost. I get lost very easy. So yeah, one time I went to visit my eldest son. He lives in a city about an hour and a half away from here. And so he lived close to downtown, and where he worked, and we were going to meet for lunch while I was staying at his place and he was working. We were going to meet and have lunch together. So he gave me a map. He drew a map for me because I need to have a map. And basically what I had to do was, here's his house. I had to walk out of his house, go this direction, to the first intersection, and turn right, and that was it. He was going to meet me on my journey down there to the main street. So I got lost. I mean, I didn't know why I got lost, and I had to call him and say, the reason why you haven't met me yet is because I'm lost. And he kept me on the phone and directed me so that he could find me. But anyways, what I had done was I held the map upside down. So I left his house this way, went to the corner, and turned this way. So instead of walking down this road, I was walking down this road. Oh boy, you can laugh about it now, but it was pretty scary. It was going on. So yeah, I think oh, you know, I'm so sorry I have to keep clearing my throat. Okay, let's take a sip. I have noticed that a lot of other YouTubers are clearing their throats on camera as well. It's really weird. It's like, you know, making me wonder if it's like has something to do with COVID. But anyways, that thing that happened was that our car died. The engine went. So there wasn't really anything left to do. So we always pay cash for our cars. We never buy a new car. We always buy a new to us car. So we didn't have a loan for our car that we had, because we only get, like, you know, a 3-year loan on the car, and then we're done. So we had just stopped paying our mortgage payment when along comes us having to get a new car, which put a car payment onto our budget. So the happiness we felt about not having a mortgage to pay anymore was kind of dampened by having to have a car payment, but we'll muddle through the next few years. And anyways, it was, I mean, obviously it was time since the motor went, but it was also time because we had an old car. It wasn't even a, you know, it didn't have any of the things that modern cars have now. So we have all these features that makes us feel like we're in the future, because we've never had them with a car before. We have warm seats, or heated seats, I guess it's called, front seats, and we have that onboard system now that shows you reversing. We didn't have anything like that in our old car, so Mr. Niagara really likes having that. And my favorite thing is that the radio station tells you what song is on. Unless, of course, it's a Canadian song, then the radio doesn't know what it is. On July 1st, when it was Canada Day, we were listening to our favorite station, which is a Canadian station, but it plays 70s, 80s, and 90s music, which is basically our era. And that's the only kind of music I listen to. And so it, I'm just going to do every one now. On Canada Day, it had the top 100 Canadian songs, and of course they were from all over. There wasn't anything newer than the 90s, I guess, with Tragically Hip was basically the newest group, and they went all the way back to the 50s with Stompin' Tom Connor singing The Hockey Game. So yeah, that whole day the radio did not know one single song. It didn't even know Bryan Adams' song, and he had several in the top 100, and his Summer of '69 was the #1 song, which I didn't agree with because I'm not a fan, but I can see why so many people like him, and that song is popular. I mean, I think Bryan Adams was popular in the States. He was a big guy, an international singer, so I don't know why our radio won't even know who he is. Okay, so I'm going to stop there so you can see me use another color. So I'm going to get one of the browns, and let's start working on this section right here. It has the triangles that go opposite directions, and within those triangles there are lines. So let me figure out which color I want to use. Okay, let's use the, which one am I using here? Okay, let's use the Cobra 66 combination. That should be this one. Yeah. Okay, so this is a different shade of brown, and I am going to have to check these out. I know that's the last one. Okay, so this is definitely a red brown that we're doing now, not that brown brown. Okay, so this one's darker. So the combination that I am doing now is a Cobra 66 rattlesnake, Cobra 68 chestnut, and Skin Light 003 rust. So we're going to start doing this section here. So you can color this in many different ways. You can color in each individual line. That would be the tiny intricate way. Then you could color in the triangles, which gives you big spaces here, or you could color the whole thing in one color. So what I'm going to do is color the triangles. That's the way I want to go about it. Also, when you're coloring in the lines, you don't have to color one at a time. You could like group them into three. Color 3 this color, 3 that color. So there's tons of ways to do this. So, starting with rattlesnake, I'm going to do the triangles. And how am I going to color these? Yeah, I'll go side to side again. So yeah, my favorite type of music is the 80s, the new wave music, the techno, like would call it techno, but I also listen to, I guess, what we called grunge back then, which isn't quite the same as what it is now. Like Tears for Fears, we called that grunge. It was just sad, depressing songs. And I still like sad, depressing songs. I was a teenager in the 80s. I was 13 in 80 and 23 in 90. So, is that right? No. I was 12 and, yeah, that's right. No, I was 12 and 22, I think. But anyway, something like that. So, I was a goth back then, before we had the word goth. Basically, I just wore really long black dresses and skirts, black old-fashioned shoes. They were, I got them from Le Chateau, and they were called granny shoes. I had those, and they were kind of like Victorian shoes. They tied up with laces. I just loved those things. I think when I finally had to get rid of them, I was devastated. So this is the combo that we're working with. I like it. Just kind of burnish it with the lightest color. That's usually, well, I won't say that's usually what I do, because I do use colorless blender a lot, but I'm not going to on this. Don't want it to have that type of look. So why was I talking about music? Oh yeah, that radio station. Yeah, so my husband, he's 7 years older than me, so he's basically the decade before me, and he was a teenager during the 70s. So that's his type of music. And we were both, you know, well, I was in my early 20s, and he was in his late 20s, I guess, during the 90s. I wonder, I'll try a dark one in this corner too. Yeah, so I just love obscure English 80s music. I used to listen to the Euro Top 40. A station that played it was on in the evenings, because it was like the early hours of the morning in England. Or not in England, in Europe, wherever this station was coming from. Now that looks better than this one did. Wonder if I need to give it a bit more of the red color. If I can get that in here. Yeah, I can still color on it. Black Widows are nice. They do quite a bit more layering than the Prismas will, because, you know, they're not layering pencils, but yeah, that looks better. So yeah, what I used to listen to on the radio when I was a teenager is I would listen to, like, this isn't all on the same night because the shows were on different nights, but I would listen to late night radio and the Euro Top 50. Sorry, the Euro Top 40. I would listen to that, and then that's how I did my record buying. My dad, at least once a month, because my dad collected records, at least once a month we would go to Sam, the record man's, in Toronto, which was like the biggest record store in Canada, and my dad and I would buy records, and my record buying was based on what I heard on the Euro Top 40, so I would be listening to people a year before they became known in North America. Like an example is Kim Wilde, if anybody knows, remembers her. She sang We Are the Kids in America, and yeah, that's the only song I can remember offhand from her. But I was listening to that song. I remember we went on a school trip to Toronto and we were allowed to go to the record store. And I bought the Kim Wilde album that had We Are the Kids in America on it. And everybody was making fun of me because nobody had heard of her, and I'm not very good at coloring and talking, at least with pencil. Yeah, and then so a year later, I was telling my friends, remember when you made fun of me on the bus? Well, this is her that you're like dancing to now. But yeah, I used to like going clubbing. Right up until my mid-40s, I would go dancing. You know, we would go to clubs that specialized in playing 70s and 80s music. And I liked those kind of bars because they were full of all ages of people. You know, there'd always be some old man, you know, like 70 or something, who would be like dancing the whole time. And then there'd be people, you know, from our age down to the college age kids, because the 80s music was a big deal a while ago. I think 90s music is making a comeback now. Not really into that except for like Nirvana and that kind of grunge. Okay, this one is bigger than those last two. So, in my time away from the camera, I took up one of my old hobbies that I used to do, and when I do my hobbies, I go gung-ho. There is no middle ground with me. It's either full on or I'm not having anything to do with it. So I started reading again, and reading used to be a big online thing for me. I never booktubed, but I was a book blogger, and I had a popular little site. I used to write what I thought were really good reviews. I had a blurb published on the back of a Canadian young adult science fiction fantasy author on the back of one of his books. That would be Kenneth Opel, if you're in the know. Also, I wrote for a local independent newsletter. I wrote I'm not tooting my horn here, but just showing you how involved I was. So I wrote for this newsletter. They had kind of a irregular, they tried to put out every week, and sometimes they missed a week, because, you know, it's independent, and that's how they go. I'm just taking a sip of my drink. But, you know, guys, I think I'm going to go because I talked for way longer than I thought I would. But I hope I've given you some idea of how to color Millie Marotta. Like this whole thing, I'm going to color in the sections. I'm not sure about this one, whether I'm going to color the individual lines. I think this one I'll probably group them together into like threes and do it that way. Over here on the butt, I'm definitely going to do the lines individually because they're quite large up here. The feet will be done in the different sections, you know, combining the spaces and the lines. This part right here is probably, because it's kind of like a mandala, I guess, then doodle pattern in this little section right here. I think I'll probably do that in individual pieces. It'll just kind of add a colorful collar to him. So yeah, I hope you've gotten an idea of what I do with coloring Millie Marotta. And if there's anybody you'd like to see me color in, just let me know in the comments down below. I will have a link to this book. And Millie has a new book coming out in either in August or October, I can't remember. It's a sea. It's all about the sea. So I'll put a link to that too in case you are interested in her and didn't know that. Remember that all my links down below are specific to your own home Amazon homepage. So if you live in Canada and you click on one of my Amazon links, it will take you to Amazon Canada, that item on Amazon Canada. If you live in the States, it will take you to that item on .com. If you live in the UK, it will take you to that item on .uk. If you live in a different country, it will just automatically take you to .com homepage, because I don't belong to any of the other foreign affiliate programs. It's not really, you know, beneficial. So yeah, there's that. And if you're glad to have me back, like this video, and if you haven't already, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I am getting close to 3,000, and I am kind of just waiting for that milestone to happen. So yeah, help me out. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna say goodbye, and I will see you next time. Now, it may be a while until I do another color and chat, but I do have an idea. So if you've made it this far, you're going to hear about this. I have an idea that I'm going to try out, and it's going to be a color and I'm not telling you. It's something I've never seen done before, and it's something that I would really enjoy doing. So we'll see if you enjoy it too or not. So, bye!